ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Let's read today's verse and purport. Can you see my screen?
Yes, bro.
Great. Okay. So today's verse is verse number 5, fifth chapter, 22nd verse. Okay. So the verse goes like this. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayo nayevate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Translation. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. So, if you want to see in the word by word, Yehi means those people, Samsparshaja means if any enjoyment coming from the samsparshaja bhoga means enjoyment coming from the contact of senses with sense objects. So, what does Krishna describe that happiness as? Dukkha yonaya. It is the seed of misery. It has the seed of misery within that enjoyment. Why? Adya antavanta. Because it starts and it ends. My dear Kaunteya, Arjun. Na teshu ramate buddha. Those who are intelligent, Buddha, they don't enjoy ramate. They don't enjoy those things. Right? So that is the translation. The purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? In the Padma Puran, it is said, Ramante yogino nante satyananda chidatmani iti rama pade nasau param brahma vidhiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama. In Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.1, it is said, Nayam deha deha bhajandriloke kashtan kaman arhati vidbhujam ye tapo divyam putraka yena satvam shuddheda yasmat brahma saukyam tvanantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified. And as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental. Are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. Okay? So this is the purport. Now, I'll just give a little context of what is going on because we jumped a lot of verses. The previous verse that we have discussed actually is in the fourth chapter, and now we are coming to the 22nd verse of the fifth chapter. There's a big jump. So, what happened in between? In the first verse of the fifth chapter, Arjun asks Krishna once again. He is again a little confused, and therefore he asks Krishna that, my dear Krishna, I'm I'm kind of not able to understand what I'm supposed to do. Because on the one hand, you're talking about, soul, jnana, and purification and liberation. You're talking about this thing. And then you are telling me go and fight. What should I do? Should I fight or should I try to get liberated? Arjun was thinking that these two are separate things. So then Krishna, as he explained in the third chapter and in the second chapter, he again explains the same thing in a slightly different way in the fifth chapter, wherein he tries to show Arjun that liberation or success in spiritual life and activity in this world are not divorced. They are not separate. They are not like, या तो आदमी साधु बनेगा या एकदम मेटेरियलिस्ट बनेगा, ऐसा नहीं है. Right? Krishna shows Arjun how through the activity of fighting he can achieve spiritual perfection. And in this particular verse, Krishna is talking about a critical aspect of the vision of a transcendentalist. So the vision of a transcendentalist is different from the vision of a what we call a materialist or a karmi. So a karmi, he acts in this world with what conception of life? He thinks that I am this body and the things in relation with the body are mine. And how do I become happy? I can become happy by trying to enjoy my senses, right? So their attempt to seek happiness is that they try to go watch movies, right? They go to different restaurants. So I many times my friends and the people I don't know friends, but the people I interact with, um, every weekend they have to go to a new restaurant. No, they are not. It's not the same restaurant. It's not enough that they go to one restaurant. They have to find the next new restaurant, the fanciest restaurants in the city. They have to keep trying new things because that is what they think will give them enjoyment. Movies. They have to watch new movies every now. They Nobody watches the same movie. The transcendentalists are very happy to read the Bhagavad Gita again and again and again and read the same verse and keep discussing it for days. But materialists need new movies every time, right? So their definition of happiness is to try and enjoy their senses. But Krishna says that a spiritualist, his vision is different. He does not care for trying to enjoy the objects of the senses because his conception of life itself is different. While the materialist thinks that I am the body, and therefore, by trying to do things for the senses, I can become happy. The spiritualist knows that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. The body is like a cage around me, like there is a bird inside a cage. Right? If there's a bird inside a cage, the bird is like the soul, and the cage is like the body. So the spiritualist is not interested in just polishing the cage. He sees the attempt to enjoy the senses as simply polishing the cage, right? If Can the bird be happy if somebody gives a very nice gold cage, but inside the bird is not having any water, not having any food? Is there any possibility of becoming happy? No, right? So, in the same way, the spiritualist is not expecting to become happy just by getting some nice food or watching some nice movie. He sees this, in fact, as something that is a cause of misery. So, why he sees this as a cause of misery, Prabhupada explains two reasons primarily. The first, more important reason, uh, yes, is this one. Why are these, why is trying to enjoy the objects of the senses so heavily condemned by Krishna? It is called dukkha yonaya. Means what? Imagine there is something. Dukkha yonaya means it is pregnant, it is laden with misery. That means when you're something is pregnant, you cannot see the baby. Like if a woman is pregnant, you can't see the baby inside the womb, but you know the baby is there, right? Similarly, those who are practicing transcendental life, like all of you who are following the Gita, you may also be tempted by trying to enjoy material things. That, oh, this thing looks enjoyable. But the vision of a transcendentalist, no, I know that inside there is some misery. What is that misery? There are two types. The first misery, the more, the uh, deep kind of the more important reason is that Prabhupada explains this is the cause of continuous material existence. If you remember in the beginning, we talked about Arjuna's doubt that, it's how can I fight and get liberated at the same time? These two are incompatible. Krishna says, no, fighting is not the problem. But if you try to enjoy yourself, if you try to get sensual pleasure from your activities, that is the cause of bondage. Because that will perpetuate your belief that I am this body. Where does the belief that I can be happy from sense pleasure comes? It comes from I am this body. So if you try to enjoy your senses, that will again make you feel, nah, I am this body only. And then you will take another birth to try and enjoy those senses. Right? The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. What are the material miseries? Does anyone remember? There are uh, there are four real problems of life. No? Four real problems of life. BODD, that was the short form.
Birth, death, disease, old age.
Ah, correct. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Yes. So these are the four miseries. These we can remember always. Okay. That BODD, birth, old age, disease, death. These are the real miseries of life. Oh, sorry, there were a lot of chat. Acha, people are replying on chat. Okay, sorry. I did not see the chat. Okay. Yes. Um, yes. So birth, old age, disease, and death. Um, as long as one has to accept a new body, one will be forced to undergo this. So the transcendentalist is aware that, see, if अरे देखो, अगर I try to enjoy my senses ना, problem क्या हो जाएगा, मेरे को नया body मिलेगा. Is that really worth it? Is trying to get happiness from this material world worth coming in another body and then suffering so much? Going through birth where one is in this tight cage of the womb for 9 months for a human being, for other animals they're in an egg or whatever, depending on your species, right? And then after that, disease, there are so many hundreds of diseases. From the bottom of your toe till the top of your head, you can fall sick in 40,000 ways. There is a very beautiful verse by Prahlad Maharaj, wherein when Narsimhadev appears and kills Hiranyakashipu, uh, he asks Prahlad to offer prayers. And in those prayers, Prahlad expresses to Narsimhadev that what benediction can I ask of you? Materially speaking, like imagine God comes in front of you and he can give you anything. He can give you the best car, he can give you the best house, he can give you the kingdom, he can make you 15 times richer than Elon Musk. I don't know, whatever. Right? He's Narsimhadev, he can do anything. But Prahlad is saying that Kutra Shisha Shruti Sukha Mrigatrishni Rupa. The Kutra Shisha, what benediction should I ask of you? Quedam Kalevaram Ashesha Rujam Vyoha. That this body is a source of unlimited diseases. How can I hope to become happy in this body? And then he also says that this happiness is Mrigatrishni Rupa. That means this material happiness is like a mirage in a desert. You understand what is a mirage? A mirage is it is like when a person is extremely thirsty and he's parched. What happens is due to the internal refraction, the the sky itself sort of reflects from the sand, and it looks as if there is a body of water which is reflecting the clouds. And the person thinks, oh, there is actually some water in this desert. Let me go and drink that water. And then he runs and approaches that so-called body of water and he tries to dive into it. But as soon as he dives, instead of getting water, he gets a mouth filled with hot sand. That is the experience of all of us in the material world, that there is actually no happiness here. It is all Shruti Sukha. Prahlad Maharaj calls it Shruti Sukha. Means what? We are all waiting in anticipation that, yeah, in future I will get some happiness. And that is why we work. But actually, there's no, once we reach that stage, we realize, यार इतना खुशी नहीं था जितना सोचा था मिलेगा, उतना खुशी तो नहीं है. बस पहुंच गए, अभी क्या नेक्स्ट गोल, शिफ्टिंग गोल पोस्ट. We think we set some goal and we try to chase it to get enjoyment, and we reach there, we don't get enjoyment, we think, अरे यार maybe my goal was wrong, and we shift the goal post and we run again. And like this whole life we are running, trying to get enjoyment from material things, but it is not there. It is simply not possible to get it because it is a mirage. And in the whole process, what is the actual experience you're having? You have a body which is just a source of unlimited miseries. Just now I have a cold. Okay, my full body is fine, but I have a cold. I have some mucus. And it's so irritating. I can't do anything properly. I am not thinking that, Arey, my hands are so nice. I'm very happy. My legs are so comfortable. No, there's one problem. In this whole body, out of 1 million things that can go wrong, it takes just one thing to go wrong for us to be very uncomfortable. And we are hoping to find happiness in this kind of a body. Right. So Prahlad Maharaj continues to say, Kutra Shruti Sukam Nikati Vedam Kalevaram Ashesh Rujam Viyogam Nirvidyate Natu Jano Yadapiti Vidwan Kamanalam Madulavai. Yeah, so he says that this lust is like a burning fire, it demands continuously. It doesn't stop demanding. Huh? This is like shifting goalposts. You put something in it, it starts demanding more. And what pleasure you get out of it? Madulavai. It is like a drop of pleasure. So, what is this material happiness that we are searching? This is what Prahlad Maharaj teaches, right? And that is why Prabhupada is also saying that those who are true yogis or transcendentalists, they're not interested in this material sense pleasure because it will entrap us. It will entrap us on this desert of material existence where there is no happiness, right? So, that is the first thing. And the second thing is they are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. Why to chase temporary happiness? Let me just give you one like a thought experiment which may help get a vision of what really this means when we say that all pleasures have a beginning and an end. Now imagine this: you're sitting somewhere, okay, and I come up to you, I grab your phone and smash it. I smash it on the table. It's all gone. It's all crumbled. Now, how would you feel? Anybody wants to say? If I just come randomly, I come and smash. I don't tell anything. I don't let you save your contacts. I don't let you reply to your messages. It's just gone. It's finished. Your phone is gone. Contacts are lost. There's no recovery possible. How would you feel? Very angry, right? Obviously, what just happened? I was, I had a phone and suddenly it's gone. All my apps are gone. Some people may have sent a message. I don't even know what they sent. A missed call may be there. How will my parents contact me? How will my wife or children or whatever contact me anymore? Right? You'll feel very uncomfortable. Now, this is one thing, mobile. Now, I want you to think about how you will feel then if every single thing that you possess is suddenly snatched away from you in an irreversible way. What I am talking about is another definition of death. The mobile was one thing, but imagine now, not just your mobile, but your parents, your children, your spouse, your relatives, your house, your bank balance, your education, your car, the respect that you earned, the social, whatever image you made for yourself, every last thing is going to be taken away, stripped away in an instant. Now tell me how angry you will be, how much pain you will experience. Are you able to see what I'm talking about? That is what Krishna is saying, that all of this, Prabhupada is saying, this is all temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. The wise man does not delight in them because he knows the more I get attached, the more I start thinking that let me enjoy this also, let me enjoy this also, let me enjoy this also. It creates a situation which is extremely painful. And we are just waiting for it to happen because it will happen. Either it will happen at death or it will happen before death. In both cases, it's painful. In death, it is mega painful because everything at once in our death. But even before that, we do have to face the death of our loved ones. We do have to face loss of property. These are all things which happen in the material world. And the more you are enjoying that relationship, the more there is pain. The more you're enjoying that thing, the more there is pain. Therefore, the wise man gives up the vision of trying to enjoy that thing. The wise man doesn't give up action. So let's not get into the same confusion as Arjuna did. कि अच्छा तो अभी सबसे दर्द आएगा, अब तो क्या मैं कोपिन पहन के जंगल में बैठूंगा, नहीं ये नहीं करना है. Okay, that is not the point. The point is we have to give up the vision of enjoyment. Just previous verse translation we can read, right? So here it is told that such a liberated person is not attracted to material pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the supreme. So practically what this means is, as a, as a budding transcendentalist, what we have to focus on is internally cultivating our relationship with Krishna. That relationship with Krishna, with Guru, is what gives us nourishment and happiness and strength. We are trying to love Krishna. And when we try to love Krishna, especially by chanting his names, by hearing his words, by associating with his devotees, we try to remember Krishna. We try to fill our lives with Krishna. We hear the pastimes of Krishna. We attend the artis of Krishna. We do all of these various limbs of devotional service. And, excuse me, try to establish our connection with Krishna. And that love is what we relish. And then we act in the world as an expression of that love. In the sense, a devotee also goes to office, and a materialist also goes to office. A materialist goes to office, why? मैं पैसे कमाऊंगा, बड़ा गाड़ी मिलेगा, बड़ा बंगला मिलेगा, लोग सलाम ठोकेंगे और मैं ऐश करूंगा. This is what a materialist thinks. A devotee also goes to office. But why? He will say, okay, I need to go to office because for Krishna's service also, there is a need for resources. There is a need for money. So he may work and try to get a promotion also. Why? Because I will now use all of that in Krishna's service. For example, a simple example could be if there is a deity in the house. If you have a small deity in the house, like Prabhupada used this example in some of his lectures, that if you have a deity, then what you would want to do is you would have to worship the deity, put ghee, etc. Take care of the deity like a family member, right? So Krishna is a part of your family at that time. So for that also you have to earn money. Similarly, Krishna wants that everyone should learn about his Gita, everyone should learn about chanting Hare Krishna. So that also needs money. I need to spend it, right? So devotee will also earn money, but he is not wanting to enjoy that money. He is trying to be happy in his relationship with Krishna. And he gives up the vision of trying to enjoy anything in the world because he sees everything in relation with Krishna. I gave the example of things, but even people, our relatives also are not there to give us happiness. Actually, if we see that they're there to give us happiness, they, when we demand they give us to give us happiness, many times they protest also. That is why nowadays people, more than relationships, they're interested in mobile phone, because mobile phone does not protest. Whatever you press button, it will say, it will do, right? But that's not how Krishna wants things to be. Anyway, so um, we don't enjoy people also. We see people also as they are a child of Krishna, and I must serve them to connect them with Krishna. And that way they will become happy, and that way I will become happy. Because the only source of happiness is our connection with Krishna. That is the vision of a transcendentalist. Right? So that is what Krishna was is kind of elaborating in this chapter also in general. That the transcendentalist has a particular vision, which is that of trying to serve Krishna in whatever he does. He doesn't withdraw from activity in general, but he withdraws from trying to enjoy all kinds of activities. And that is what we discussed in today's verse, that a wise man, Buddha, is not interested in enjoying because there is so much pain. There is no enjoyment actually. We are in some confused state. Already that verse was discussed, na, that how from the contemplation, dhyato vishayan pumsa, sangha, you get attachment, then you get kama, then you get krodha, then you forget your intelligence, and then you, whatever you forget that you are not this body and your spirit. And then we try to enjoy, thinking that we are the body. So that is what is this so-called enjoyment. It is not enjoyment, it is illusion. Right? So yes, that is the discussion for today. Does anyone have any questions or comments? No? Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Leela Krishna Prabhu, for your kind words of encouragement. Actually, in Bhagavatam, it is said that if anybody is able to speak about Krishna, Krishna empowers them because the hearers are so sincere. So all of you are joining every day. That is why Krishna wants all of you to hear his message. So he's using me also, though I don't have any qualification to speak, but he is utilizing me in his service. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for joining. Um, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Please do, all of you do share what you learned. It'll help me also understand what you are grasping. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.